You know, I once drank a shot glass full of chili sauce for a bet on a night out, and the resulting explosive ejection of liquid fire from my body the next morning was enough to have me praying to the gods of chaos themselves, anything to release me from the torment. But you know what? That was still more fun than watching Supergirl, partly because I won the bet, so at least I made some money out of it, but mostly because at least it was over quickly. Supergirl, on the other hand, stretched out into almost 2 hours of abject misery and boredom, and by golly do you feel it. I was gonna say you feel it by the end, but who am I kidding? I was feeling it after like 20 minutes.
I hate this! It is revolting!
Supergirl is everything we all feared it would be, and more. So much more. A cringy, cliched, tedious mess of dull, lifeless action scenes that we've seen a million times before. That fucking face, man. One-dimensional characters with nothing even resembling arcs, the kind of safe, edgy humour that's become the hallmark of these factory-produced superhero flicks, all the usual played-out James Gunnisms that ran their course like half a decade ago, cinematography that looks like someone smeared the results of my chili sauce shot all over the camera lens, and a protagonist who's about as likeable and empathetic as a British politician. In short, Supergirl is a fucking disaster. The wrong movie at the wrong time, based on the wrong source material, made by the wrong people and starring the wrong actress. But we'll talk more about that later. Believe that. Anyway, fuck it, let's just do the plot. So a series of flashbacks explain how Kara's father separated a chunk of Krypton called Argo City from the rest of the planet when it got destroyed. But oh no, it also released kryptonite, or something, and everyone's slowly dying of radiation poisoning, so her parents send her and her dog Krypto off to Earth to meet up with Clark. But she's like, nah, I'm too cool for you, and spends most of her time dicking around on planets with red suns so that she can get drunk and party, and look like the kind of girl you'd find passed out in a pool of her own vomit round the back of a nightclub on a Sunday morning. Wow, what an inspirational character. Can't wait to see more of this. So we pick up with Kara celebrating her 23rd birthday by, you guessed it, getting drunk and partying. That's when she meets up with Ruthie, who's out to kill some dickhead named Krem in revenge for murdering her family. But Kara's like, nah, it'll be fine.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with getting drunk. But damn.
But it turns out it won't be fine when Krem himself shows up and steals Kara's ship and shoots Krypto with a poison dart that'll kill him in 3 days if he doesn't get an antidote. Wow, that was lucky, wasn't it? Lucky the antagonist of the movie just happens to show up right after he's been mentioned. Lucky that he shoots Krypto with a slow-acting poison instead of just vaporizing him or something. Lucky this all creates the perfect setup for our reluctant hero to join forces with young, strong female character.
Right.
Anyway, so off they go to track down Krem and his gang of Mad Max rejects, and then Lobo shows up for like 5 minutes to give Jason Momoa something to do, then they accidentally get an innocent family killed, and Kara gets sick from the green sun on this planet, but then she gets better, and there's a big fight where she stops Ruthie from killing Krem, because revenge is bad or something, but then she kills him anyway because she's not your typical superhero, and then she saves Krypto and goes back to Earth because she's decided it's finally worth her attention. And that's it. That's the plot for Supergirl.
It's all bullshit. All of it.
Now, I'd be lying if I said I went into this movie expecting great things from it, but I've got to admit, I was surprised. And the thing that surprised me most was how fucking shit the writing was. I mean, the dialogue is exactly what you'd expect from something like this. The usual mix of trite one-liners, desperate attempts at edginess, the kind of cringe meta-humor that can only come from millennial Hollywood writers, and of course, those wacky Marvel quips. That's all par for the course in 2026, but it's the story that really lets this movie down. The plot is nothing but a series of and then coincidences, all strung together with the most flimsy justifications. The characters themselves are just along for the ride. Major events take place and people show up for no other reason than to make the rest of the plot happen. Kara gets sick and weak when she's exposed to a green sun in the second act low point, but then she just gets better when a yellow sun helpfully comes out. There's no particular trial she has to go through, no lessons learned, no difficult choices to make. The plot says that it's time for the the big final battle, so it happens. Lobo shows up out of nowhere for like 5 minutes because he looks cool and the script needed some fan service and everyone likes Jason Momoa.
He does look
and he
cool.
does exactly what he always does, plays Jason Momoa. Honestly though, you could cut him right out of this
Jason
movie and
Momoa
everything would
is
play out exactly
Jason
the same.
Momoa.
In fact, I'm pretty convinced that the bulk of his scenes were added in post-production. Krem is just a generic bad guy who does bad stuff because, fuck it, who even cares? He's just there to give the rest of the characters something to do. There's no real substance to him, no big overarching plan or hidden justification for
He
what
likes
he's
to
doing.
do
He's
good
just
rat
a
things
space
with his
pirate
friends.
crossed with Mad Max. His death means nothing because his life meant nothing either. Jesus, who wrote this shit? Oh yeah, Anna Nogueira, a former TV actress whose writing credits amount to fuck all. I mean, literally, the only thing I could find about her was We Win, a micro-budget short film from 8 years ago about a couple's relationship that unravels during a game of Mafia.
Totally qualified.
Oh yeah, that totally justifies
Overqualified,
putting her
really.
in charge of a $200 million superhero blockbuster. You're seriously telling me you couldn't find anyone better qualified for this job than a failed actress who aged out of the industry
Nope.
with
How
precisely
could you?
one screenwriting credit to her name? Fuck off, James Gunn. Honestly, I'm surprised you
Yeah,
didn't
fuck
cast
you,
your own
James
wife
Gunn.
in this just so you could watch her get railed by Lobo. Then there's Kara herself, who's apparently based on the not particularly popular
James
Tom King
chair in
run
the
of comic
corner
books, which
Gunn.
helpfully ignore half a century of character development to paint Kara as a cringy punk rock anti-hero.
I hate this.
I mean, I can't say I'm surprised, to be honest. That little cameo she got at the end of Superman already told us what kind of an annoying arsehole she was gonna be.
Thanks for watching him, bitch!
That's
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Not since the Marvels have I liked a main character less than this one. There's this weird feeling of mild desperation throughout the whole movie, where they're trying so hard not to make her a Mary Sue that she just comes across as an annoying bitch who doesn't care about anything or anyone but herself. You know, the kind of girl who flips the bird with a mildly pissed off expression in every single picture she ever takes because she really needs you to know how much cooler she is than you? Well, that's basically Kara in this movie. It's horseshoe theory projected onto characterization,
that girl.
where going far enough away from something ends up looping you right back to where you started. An insufferable arsehole. They're trying so hard to paint her as this
Arsehole.
jaded, cynical,
Arsehole.
world-weary pragmatist who's tried and failed to be a hero and just
Oi,
wants to be
Owie,
left
you a
alone now,
arsehole.
but it doesn't fucking work because she's like 23 years old. This is the kind of thing you do with a 50-year-old man, not some young girl who's just starting out. Like, how the fuck can you have a life of regrets when you've barely even lived a life to begin with? If they had to do some kind of anti-hero arc with her, they should have made her this rebellious, energetic, loose cannon who acts first and thinks later, convinced that she can help everyone, only to discover real life is more complicated than just punching the bad guy. You have to show us the fall so that we can cheer for the rise. Ultimately, for all the hype and controversy swirling around it, Supergirl is nothing but a
yeah.
depressingly bleak, horrible-looking, uninspired, generic superhero movie whose only USP turns out to be its biggest weakness. Yes, young women really can be messy, self-absorbed failures, but here's the thing this movie doesn't really get. They probably shouldn't. It's a movie that no one seemed particularly excited for, pushing a character no one cares about in a cinematic universe that's barely started but already seems to be in its death throes. And well, Supergirl is nothing but another nail in the coffin. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Sheesh, Kara, can you leave the alcoholic self-loathing for us 40-year-olds? Okay? Damn.